So far, we've really just been focusing on just getting back to the basics. Especially with spring ball, it's not in season, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're still got that same energy as you would preparing for any game or anything. Because the point of spring ball is trying to get better and improve and learn.
What do you like about Ron Bellamy as a coach?
Ron Bellamy is great. One of the interesting things about him is he's been part of the crew with the receivers back in his playing days. He's played with a lot of Hall of Famers and a lot of legendary players throughout his career. So it's good for us to pick his brain and get information out of him to help our game as well as a receiver.
Now, considering that he played receiver and you just had Josh Gaddis, who was a defensive back, is it different getting essentially like tips and everything from someone who's played the position compared to someone who was kind of teaching you potentially what it was like to go up against like a DB?
Yeah, that's a good point. I never really thought about it from that perspective because Coach Gaddis was a defensive player in his playing days. So, those are two different perspectives technically. So those are two different coaches, but at the same time, we're both going for the same goal, which is to win and perform at our best. So they're both great coaches in that area.
Do you think there are benefits to having a full-time position coach as opposed to an offensive coordinator who also works with the wide receivers?
That's another good point too, because Coach Bellamy really focuses it on just the wide receivers. So that does allow us to get more attention here and there after each rep.
How is it seeing Mike Sanders still on the defensive side?
Oh, that's really funny to me. I just think it's just hilarious to see Mikey out there playing defense because he's always been like, it was when we first came in, it was me, Mikey, Giles Jackson, and George Johnson, Quintel Kent as like the our class of wide receivers. And now it's just me and Mikey, and now he's on defense. So I'm like, it's just funny to see that. But I always wish him the best on defense. But at the same time, when I'm lining up against him, it's like for some reason just a little more personal in the back of my mind.
Who gets the better of that?
Usually Mikey. The thing about Mikey is he's guarding like the slot receivers. So when I'm in the slot or outside, but right now, I'd say we're going at it for sure. I don't know yet. We'll see.
How's it been working with the 3 new freshmen in the room?
Good. Those guys are coming along well. We're all trying to like rally around them. We had a thing in our room where like we made all the freshmen because at first when they come in, they're a little quiet, maybe a little shy. But what we do, we just make them, just sit in the room and they have to yell like as loud as possible, just to like get that off their chest. And ever since, it always worked because ever since then, they're always just like super outgoing. So it's just, I don't know, something like that. It was really funny to me to see them really open up after we made them comfortable in the room.
So you stepped up with the leadership role there in that room, given you're the only guy in the class, and Ronnie's still sidelined. Has this spring really been about leadership for you, especially with those 3?
Yeah, leadership is very important, especially with the young guys coming in the new class, trying to get them up to speed with the playbook and all the technique.
What are some things about your game that you're hoping to improve before next season?
For my game that I'm hoping to improve for next season is just continue getting on the same page with Cade and the rest of the quarterbacks, and also the coaching staff, making sure we're calling plays for us, and for me personally, just catching everything, being productive, and just playing as hard as I can for Michigan. That's the goal.
How do you think this team approaches the season? Last year was chip on the shoulder coming off of the 2-4 season, and now that you've had great success last year, what's the theme or the motto? What do you embrace going into this one?
Just focusing on state. Like that's what motivates me, whether it's Penn State, Michigan State, or Ohio State. It's either way, it's state. So those 3, like they say, like at Michigan, it's a requirement to come out there. Like,